Okay, today I'm pretty excited because I have a very special guest, a vocalist that I admire since the start, since the beginning, since 1981, 82, since the very first album. A vocalist with a recognizable tone and incredible vocal range. Here we are with DeFeis.
Greetings. Thanks for bringing me on the show. Mi piace.
Great pleasure for me, really. I'm very happy to have you here. And let's talk immediately about your recent release, because the first two albums, Virgin Steele 1 and Guardians of the Flame, had recently come out in a new version, a new edition, anniversary edition. What we should expect from these new editions?
Every song has been remixed, not just remastered, remixed. Going back to the original multi-track and bringing them to life in another new way, as if they were made just last week. That was the idea, to give it a new mix, a new shine, a new feeling of like, when was this really done? Was this done, in the 80s, or was this done yesterday? That's the idea I was trying to achieve.
There are some memories that remind you at the period when you listen to this record, when you have mixed this, and maybe you thought, oh, this reminds me when I have done this, when the band played this live, when the scene was completely different from nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of memories came flooding back when I dove into the work. Mostly good, yeah. Places and people, clubs that we did, theaters. Just an overwhelming amount of stuff went through the old brain, through the ears first, then right to the head, and the memories come. And it was a labor of love. I went at it, both records, really with a lot of faith, heart, and steel, trying to just, lovingly bring it back to the moment that we just did it. I wanted to achieve that feeling that I got when we were actually in the studio and we just finished. Oh yeah, that's what it should sound like as we were in the studio, that moment.
Yeah, at the time in New York, there were you, Virgin Steele, and maybe Manowar, and I don't know if Twisted Sister or other bands, but I think that New York have had some special feelings for not glam or hair metal, let's call it this way, music, but something more heavier, more epic. And why you call your music barbaric, romantic barbarian music? What does it mean?
Why? Okay, it's really a mixture of what I call the bones of the mountain sound, which comes from like the old blues, the really early beginnings of where rock music arrived from, that sort of thing. Bring that along with the later developments of old classical music and opera and Chopin, Beethoven, Debussy, Verdi, Wagner, all that went on in 19th century romantic music. So it's like a fusion of the most basic elements and the most later, the flowering of the most complex moments. So that's the idea, was to kind of like always be aware of that bones of the mountain, even when you're going out there and getting really rich harmonically and expanding the harmonic vocabulary. You still want to keep that that earthy, tether, kind of a thing. So that's what it is.
What kind of differences, in your opinions, are between your guitar player at the period, Jack Starr, and of course Edward Pursino? I mean that different styles, different personality.
Oh yeah, very different. Edward was, I knew Edward before I knew Jack, so it was inevitable that we would be in a band together at some point. We've been playing together since we're like 14 years old. So let's see, how can I say? I guess Jack might be more from the maybe the Richie Blackmore school. He was more like that sort of thing. And Edward was maybe more from the Jimmy Page school, that sort of thing. So I mean, they do connect, with the blues and whatnot. But yeah, Edward was more of a guy who was more into playing for the song itself. As Jack. And this is not a slur or anything like that. Jack was really into being a guitar hero kind of guy. Edward is in his own way, but he wasn't. He didn't. That wasn't his goal. His goal was more like, what can I do inside this song? That sort of thing. Whereas Jack was like, really more about presenting the development of the guitar and his technique and that kind of thing. It's different brain, different idea.
Can we say that maybe Pursino is much more melodic in a way, in the way he plays solos, a little bit much more melodic?
Yeah, he took a lot of the vocal lines that I sang, and he would like to bring them in to the solos in the songs, that sort of thing, to like bring back again. We were always thinking about the structure of the song, how to make the song better, or just bigger, more alive, kind of a thing, rather than just saying, okay, I want to just shred. It's a different mindset.
Mm-hmm, I see. For example, Noble Savage has a terrific solo, beautiful. This song, for me, is one of your best, because Noble Savage represents something.
Yeah, everybody's got different songs that they feel the most connected to. I mean, I love the song. I wrote it. I'm very proud of it. But I'm probably closer to some other tracks these days than that. But it still, of course, holds a very special place in my psyche and in my heart.
And will you play songs from these two first albums on your next concerts?
We might. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff there, so it's possible. I always enjoyed doing Don't Say Goodbye. That's still in the set. Guardians, sometimes we do. We used to do Redeemer for a lot of years, so maybe we'll bring that back. Who knows? We'll see. Always a little different. We don't always do every concert only those songs. It's always a little different.
Do you find some kind of difficulties singing these songs live nowadays, or you change, I don't know, keys or something, or you do exactly the same as you have done in the past?
I mean, I never do exactly the same of anything. I'm always experimenting. I'm always exploring. Once a song is on record, that doesn't mean it's etched in stone and a fossil forever. I'm always still exploring and doing different things with it. So sometimes, if I did something lower on the record, I might go up, live, and vice versa. So it's always different. It's all on the mood that you're in on a given night. Yeah. It's always a little different.
By the way, talking about your voice, did you practice? Did you have some kind of training for your voice?
I was completely self-taught for most of my life. I did learn a few things from my sister, who's an opera singer, and her husband, who is also an opera singer. But when I actually went to formal vocal lessons, the guy actually screwed me up, and I had to kind of get away from that, because he was trying to make me be something that I wasn't going to be. He didn't really get what I was trying to do. So now and again, I speak to some people from the opera world to just check how am I doing, what's going on, and like that. But it's just not like a widget. I go every week training. Once in a while, I see somebody and say, okay, let me show you what I do. What do you think? That kind of a thing. Okay, it's good. Or you can try this, that sort of thing. It still works, which is amazing, because I've been screaming my balls off since I was 11 years old. So it's a long time.
Yeah, I see.
Abuse.
And about your composing, you compose on piano, on keyboards, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't play guitar or something?
Yes, yes. That is my very little on the guitar. I mainly compose on this instrument behind me, piano. Yeah, yeah. That's the instrument that I know the most, as well as this.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
There are some critics, not me, I must say, that say that recently your albums are getting too much, too much keyboards and less guitar. What do you think about it?
Critics can criticize all they want. I don't really give a shit. If you listen to the last album, the Passion album I'm speaking of, there's a shitload of guitar on there, on every song. You know, there's piano, but there's an enormous. There's probably more guitars on that one record than in every record that came before it. There's layers and layers of guitars. So there's quite a bit of guitars. Look, you reach a point in your life where you don't want to repeat everything that you did before. You want to keep growing. You know, a tree doesn't stop. It wants to grow new branches, go different ways. But the roots of it all are still there. So if you've got ears to listen and a brain to understand what's going on, then you say, oh yeah, I get it. I see what's going on. If you're only expecting, you know, if your musical diet is different than mine, then you're going to, experience what we do differently. I have a very broad musical diet. I eat a lot of different music through my ears, But if you're only listening to, let's say, I don't know, just power metal or whatever, and power metal of a variety that doesn't explore, then you might find what we do difficult to understand maybe at first. But if you keep listening to it, it will get in there. Every album that we've done, especially I remember on Visions of Eden, people didn't get it for about 5 years. Now, it's the most wonderful thing in the world. But, when it first arrived, people were like, they didn't quite get it. So that's just the nature of when a band is growing faster than the audience can absorb it. That's the thing, and I think it's what has gone on for it sometimes. But I will say this. It would be very easy for me to go there and say, all right, yeah, I'm going to repeat Noble Savage, or I'm going to repeat this album because people like that. But that would be completely and utterly dishonest, because you have to live in the moment that you're in. I'm not going to pretend it's 1985. I'm going to live where I am now and sing about and express about what I am in this moment. I'm not going to sit there pretending it's 1995 or 1985, whatever. I think that's cheap. No, I'm going to be, if you want to be an artist of any type, and I use that word, like that. But I do think of myself more as a writer, composer, kind of a thing, than a singer. I want to keep exploring. I want to take what's in this and bring it out to your ears.
Yeah. I think that, honestly, you are perfectly right. Absolutely. An artist should have also the courage to do every time what comes from the heart, from the brain, and from the hands, of course. Not thinking about fans or about critics and stuff like that. Perfectly right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you give us, for example, 5 titles of your favorite albums ever? 5 or more.
I really love Visions of Eden. I love them all, for different reasons, But at the end of the day, I would say Visions of Eden is one of them. A lot of people didn't understand what went on these records I'm going to mention, but they are among my favorites. The Ghost Harvest records, songs like Feral. Some people just didn't understand that record. I don't know. I didn't. It's a mystery to me, but whatever, But that track in particular, for Justine, Feral, there's great tracks on those albums. And I was a big fan also of Nocturnes, the Nocturnes album. The last album we just did, Passions in there. Black Light Bacchanalia. I think by Bacchanalia, I would really like to do what I did with Guardians and the first album. I want to go back and remix that record, like I did with Visions of Eden. Because when we did that record, it was very sort of rushed, and I was never really happy with the end mix at the end of the day. But I think the songs and the emotional weight of the record is really there. So I like to bring that out in another way.
And what are the bands that kept you growing when you were young?
Oh, Led Zeppelin, Green, Black Sabbath, T-Rex, Mott Hoople. Oh my God, the list goes on.
Rainbow?
Yeah, UFO. Rainbow. I love so many. Yeah, UFO.
Okay, and about vocalists, do you have had some idols in the beginning or not?
Always, yeah, sure. Robert Plant, Freddie Mercury, David Coverdale, everybody who is in Deep Purple or Rainbow,
Glenn Hughes.
Yeah, all this. Bon Scott, I love, so many singers. I love the human voice, so I like a different variety of singers. But I also like really the early blues people like Elmore James, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, all those guys as well.
Paul Rogers.
So what I really wanted to do with the voice was, I wanted Paul Rogers. Yeah, I wanted to be a human guitar. I really wanted to be Jimmy Page with the voice, or Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen, that kind of thing.
I see.
So that's why I sing the way I do. That was really the approach.
Because in my opinion, nowadays there are many singers that have that hit very high notes, but don't reach very much the heart of the people. I mean that probably you have listened to some records of power metal, let's call it power metal music from Europe especially, where you have the singer that are incredible high voice, but I think that most of the time they didn't reach the heart of the people. What do you think? Maybe some things is lacking.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cookie cutter music going on right now, and not just in metal, but in all genres, where one thing is successful and everybody wants to do the exact same thing. So it's, I must sing like this, I must play like this, sort of an idea that goes on. So that's why all those records sound interchangeable. Yeah, there's a lot of great ability, great voices, great fingers, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, what I don't get from a lot of these records is any idea of a song. Why are you singing this song? What do you want to express? That's the thing. When I go in there to sing something, it's either like, I want to tell the world something, or I want to pour my heart out to somebody, or I want to shriek in rage, this, or happiness, whatever it is. It's got to be. That's the first thing that I need. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why am I going to go and open my mouth and do anything? Mm-hmm. I have to be connected with it, really connected with it.
That's it. Okay, I would like to ask you your opinions or impressions about some bands that are recently very known. Okay, I will start asking you opinion about Ghost. If you ever listen to them, of course.
I don't know much. I don't know much. I couldn't remember. I know I saw a video once, and they had masks on.
Yeah.
I could not remember anything. I haven't listened enough, so I don't know. Probably most of what you asked me, I will have no idea. Okay. But keep going.
No problem. Looking back,
I don't know.
Yeah. Looking back, Crimson Glory.
Yeah. I remember hearing the voice and thinking, "Wow, this is really a great, interesting voice." And I remember the music being interesting, but I don't have any of the records, so I didn't really get enough familiarity with it. But I remember when I did listen to it, oh yeah, this is good.
Yeah. And Manowar?
Manowar, I'm quite more familiar with. Yeah. Yeah, great band, great. Everybody's great in the band. I like the records, and I like the music, and I like them as people. Yeah, because I got to know them. We did shows.
Because in my opinion,
yeah,
in America,
I like that.
In my opinion, personal opinion, in America there were only three great bands: you, Virgin Steele, Manowar, and Queensryche. the best ever. My humble opinion.
Also, Sabotage,
yeah.
Good band.
Sorry, I forgot it. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of Sabotage, but unfortunately they didn't come out with anything recently. So great pity. Plans for touring in Europe, in Italy, maybe.
We were supposed to go to Italy, but the gigs got canceled because the promoter could not get the permits for some festival things. Yeah, but I believe that very same promoter is looking around to some more regular venue shows to bring us over either in autumn or winter. So we will arrive.
I will be there, absolutely. So we will meet again. And what do you think about differences between Europe and US? I mean, especially for the crowd, for the audience, for the musical tastes, and for the live situation, live clubs and festivals. Because many that I have interviewed in the past from US told me that in US it's kind of difficult situation to play alive this type of music.
It used to be real easy, when we first started, but those venues and all that is like not so available now. Yeah. So Europe is still stronger than the States for the live situation. But there are certain venues that you can still go and do something with. And I think we will over the next months here at least in New York. But in general, I think the audiences are somewhat similar. If they like you, and they show it, in a positive way. But I guess, going back from when we began, the USA was a little more like hardy rock, a little more like Van Halen-ish, that sort of thing. And Europe was a bit more like classical, a little more the other side of the coin. And that's why I think we were like that. So I think why it worked easier for us in Europe always than it did in the States.
You are very famous, for example, in Greece. Where you have done some festivals recently, also in Italy. Virgin Steele are very, very appreciated, in Germany too, of course. The question is, why don't you ever come out with a live album until now?
I would like to. I really would. I've been wanting to do it forever, So we did. Again, I would love to. Yes, I wanted to do it years ago. We have issued as bonus material on various records live stuff, so there is stuff out there. But yeah, a full live show. What my goal at the moment is this: I want to make a live document of the group where it is right now, kind of like what Led Zeppelin did with their movie "Home Remains the Same." So that's what we've been actually doing at the moment. We've been filming our live shows, filming backstage, with personal stuff, everything. So I will be putting that together, and I think we're going to finish up within the next few months. This idea of this kind of movie, yeah, and then we'll do the soundtrack to go with it, and maybe. There might be a studio EP to go with that, because I got some stuff that's like outside of like the normal next album scheme, other things that would not fit there that I'll maybe join with that. So
it's going to be great. This is really big news.
That's my goal.
Of course, yes. And of course, I hope that also another goal is to play in Italy. We are many to wait for you. Recently, you have done some shows where in Europe last year, I mean. Yeah.
We did Spain, we did Greece, and we just a week or so ago we were in Germany.
Ah.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. We did the True Heim Festival, which was great. Yeah, really great. And there were people from Italy there, people from Sweden, people from Spain. Yeah, it was very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question: are you working on new materials, on new songs that will come out in the next future?
Yes. 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 And yes again. Yeah. Yeah. We're already like halfway through what will be the next record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also a little bit of ways through what will be the record after that. So yeah, I'm still writing, and we are still in the studio. So there's a lot of music yet to be released.
Why this connection on the lyrics between you and mythologic themes, especially from Greece and from ancient Rome? Is it your passions when you was child, or something that happens naturally? The connection between music and lyrics.
I grew up in a very theatrical home. My father was a director, producer, actor in plays, live theater. So he was doing Greek myths, and I got to see them perform, and I started reading, and I got, whoa, this is amazing. And I dove into the Roman myths, the Celtic, Nordic, every myth under the sun, everything I absorbed. And so I'm very close to that world. And what I love about the world of myth is that they're really speaking about humanity and life on the street right now. Those stories are timeless. So using some of that imagery from myth, I can actually be speaking about what's going on outside my window right now.
Yeah,
that's what I love about that.
Okay, in the end, would you like to say something to Italian audience and fans?
Greetings, paisans. Yeah, we will be back. We miss being in Italy, and we will come back again. We actually have a gentleman playing with us right now who is from Firenze, a guy named Tommy Vitale. He played in the last shows we did, and I've written some interesting songs with him that might be on this EP I speak of. Yeah, so we've got one of your own, and we're going to bring him over. Yeah.
Great. Ciao, David.
All right. Ciao.